Hey everybody, Dave here again. I wanted to do another quick short video about Jay Slater's USPSA results viewer. So I've done local match races, quote unquote, and I think there's a better way to do this. And so what I have on the screen with me here is the Greater Richmond Blasters match. It's their local match, Chris and Tess Dye, where every month they run a match. They do it year round, every month, doesn't matter, rain, snow, shine, whatever. They're there. Hats off to them. Now, I had posted results based on total points accumulated, but I think there's a better way here, and that's what I'm showing on the screen. So if you notice, this is a spreadsheet. This is my Excel spreadsheet. At the bottom, you can see all the different tabs. Carry optics, open, limited, PCC, production, limited optics, single stack, limited 10, and revolver. And I've ranked them all based on average points. If you look to the far right in the column, it says average points. So Joel Fisher, John Dole, James Cantrell, Larry Coons, Matt Hempel, all have won a match there. There's only been 5 matches this year. They've had 5 different winners. So obviously those 5 guys have all shown up on different months. At some point, there's going to be a duplicate. So thus far, when they've shown up to a match, they've won. So their average points at that match is 100. Okay? Now, as we scroll down, you can see my cursor there. As we scroll down, once you get down to like Stephen Van, he's in 8th place. He has a total of 171 points. So he literally has more than all 7 people above him. But his average finish is 85.5 points. Okay. Now, if you notice, so these top 5 would all be tied for first. Jim Steele and Keaton Pearson would be tied for second per se, but in this case, 6th. Now, and it scrolls all the way down. Brandon Olson, he's competed in 3 matches there. So he has 200.6 points. So he would literally be winning a points race if it were an actual points race. But by going with average points, he's at 66.9, which is still very interesting and valuable to him because he can then compare himself to the people above him and the people below him to see where he finishes out on average. Okay? Now, things would obviously change if he went to a match and every single person showed up, then his points won't be the same. Because if all 5 of those people at the top show up, then chances are one of them will finish first, one of them will finish second. It's going to vary. But for someone like Brandon Olson, still very good shooter, but he might get pushed down. He may only get 50 points in that match. So that's how things would vary. So you would want to look at total points also, but ranking as well plays a big part in this. So you can go all the way down. And I have literally every single person who has shot this match over the 5 months, which is 87 people. So it starts at 100, and Frank Wade, this is not to call anybody out, he has shot 1 match. He got 2.5 points, so that's his average. Zach Stelwig, who has competed in 5 matches, every one of them. So he has 106.7 points and an average of 21.3. Again, not to call him out because there are other people. It's J.D. Madamba, Tim Yagla. So there are other people who have shot 5. The highest one to the top is Dave East. He has 247.3 in 5 matches for an average of 49.5. Now, if he were to finish out the year, then he would see maybe his average points raise up by the end of the year, and maybe he's at 53.1, where Larry Talbot, Benjamin Chapman, and Brendan Fisk or Frisk sit. So maybe he joins them, and maybe one of them falls or goes up. But you can see you'll be able to track your progress in comparison to those other local shooters. Let's take a look at open. Here's one. Kevin Garospi and Frank Gow, they're both tied with 200 points. They average 100. That means they've both been to 2 matches. They've both won, but they haven't competed against each other yet. So that would make for a very interesting competition right there. Colin Pierce, on the other hand, now he's competed in 5 and he has 354.1 points for an average of 70.8. He still falls in that top 10. Now, who knows, again, what happens if both Kevin and Frank, James Hahn, Tom Suit, Jason Roberts, and Jordan Parker do if they all show up, and where Colin would fall in there. Jeff Jefferson is literally a 1/10 of a point behind. So he has competed in 3 matches, 212.2 points for an average of 70.7. So literally a 1/10 of a point difference between the two. But this is just to give you an idea of where you would fall, where you stand in comparison to other shooters you know. And it goes right down the line. Here is, let me make that a little bit bigger. There we go. Here's limited, okay? Same thing, Stephen Toe. He is 390 total points in 4 matches for a 97.5 average. So even though he hasn't won all of the matches, he's done very well consistently. So this might be your, as Jay Slater likes to say, your predictor right here. So maybe at this match, Stephen Toe, if you notice there are, let's see, total of 23 shooters who shoot limited at this match, I would say Stephen Toe would be the odds-on favorite. If all 23 showed up to shoot the same exact match, then Stephen Toe would be the slight favorite with Zach right behind him and Colin Moreau and Donald right behind them. Then there's a gap. So that would be a very interesting competition between those 4 to see who would actually win that match. And again, this is just to compare you with those individuals who shoot locally who you may or may not know. Chances are you know of them. You may not know them, but you know of them. So this is one of the benefits to running this points race or rankings race or whatever you want to call it. It gives the shooters locally, not just at a national level, but locally, people they know and see where they are in comparison. Now here's another benefit. Let's go back. Let's go back to Carry Optics. Okay, as I stated, there are 87 unique shooters that compete at this match, according to Practice Score. These are all the results from Practice Score combined into one spreadsheet for the year. Okay, well, maybe Joel Fisher, right here, maybe he gets a sponsor or Nationals gives him a slot. Well, maybe the match director can use this to reward whomever they feel is most deserving of a slot that they receive for Nationals. So here's another benefit. Now, the other option, and they could choose either one. They could either go by the total number of points. So maybe in this case, it goes to Brandon Olson because he's competed so much. So this would be his participation award. I know we joke about it, but literally because he's there and he puts in time shooting that match and maybe he helps RO and stuff like that, Chris and Tess are like, hey, you know what? Let's give Brandon a slot to Nationals. He's earned it based on these numbers. Now here's another option. Look right below, two below that. So Tim Hychak, who runs the Quantico match, was a section coordinator. I don't think he is now because I don't think he's staying in the area. He's in the military, and I think he's being transferred. Don't quote me on that. But here's the other thing. So Tim can get with all the local match directors in the section, and they could come up with a way of disseminating the national slots based on a couple of things. Maybe the match directors are like, you know what? We want to give it out based on participation at our local matches. Okay. Then Tim's like, then what I am going to do is I'm going to take all of these rankings, put them all into one spreadsheet, combine them all, and then offer them to the top person and go right down the line until somebody wants one. I don't know. I'm not saying you have to do that either. My point is, using Jay Slater's software, you have endless options here to use this software in many different ways. The individual shooter can compare themselves to other shooters that they want to compare themselves to. In this case, you can do it match wide. With like Tim Hychak, he could use it section wide. And then it could go to Ted Murphy, and Ted Murphy could do something area wide. So it's just incalculable as to how many options there are as to how you use the software. I really think it's a neat tool, and it would take some playing with and getting used to and determining that best practices method, but I think it's there. There's definitely a way to do it. And talking with Jay via Instagram, right now you cannot print the results to Excel. So like for me, I had to import this manually. I had to type everything in. I calculated everything on J software, and then I typed everything into Excel. But in version 6.5, he will add the ability to download the results in an Excel spreadsheet already. So all you'd have to do is go in and sort it however you wanted it, and then you could literally send that Excel spreadsheet to the section coordinator if you're a match director. And then the section coordinator can combine all that and send it to the area director, who could then combine the different section coordinators' Excel spreadsheets into one, and boom, now you'd have local matches with a rankings, sections, and the entire area. Just a thought, just another way to use the software. All right. If there are any local match directors or even section coordinator or area director who would like input or assistance or thoughts or whatever, feel free to reach out. I'll help in any way that I can, depending on my, the time that I have available, but I'm more than willing to help out. So I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and in the comments, let me know how you would use the software.